Good morning, everybody, here on Trading Within the Box on May 4th, 2024. Happy Cinco de Mayo to everybody. First of all, this is not a recommendation to buy, hold, sell any futures, forex, equities, or any options. This is a educational video only. If you'd like to purchase stocks, please contact a licensed professional or the brokerage house of your choice, and they will help you there. Okay, so let's get to it here, and let's get to it. We're going to go on the weeklies first, but let's go over to the weekly chart on the S&P 500, and let's see what's actually happening here. So, okay, so let's get to it right now. This is the end of the week here, and we're looking at the S&P 500 going into this area, coming off of the support area. Now, I said on a weekly chart last week or the week before, we were sitting right, that was the week of April 15th, sitting right on the support. So I said, you're going to get a bounce on the weekly chart, on the moving averages, especially the 20 and the 50, you'll have major support at that level. So you get a capitulation candlestick this week on a weekly chart here. So we could get a reversal here. We could get a reversal here coming up and retest the top area, okay? So let's look at the daily chart, okay? And this is what we have going on. Let's go over the line chart, and let's see how we have a little bit of a W here, okay? We have increasing volume, a little bit of buying volume. So let's see if we're going to get up to the 519.62 on the S&P 500. So that we got a doji on the daily on Friday. So we got a little bit of indecision. Let's see if we get a follow through with a buy there, okay? Let's go over to XLF because the banks lead the way. And let's go over to the weekly chart. And the weekly chart, now I want you to see this on a line chart. Look at this. We got a W formation forming, a retest W, okay, right here. See that? Let's see if this stops. Now, this could go down and test this spot right here at the 4014. That's a major support area right there. And then, boom, we can head back up. So let's see exactly what they're going to do there on the weekly chart. Now, on the daily chart, we can get a turn here, too. The same thing here. We have the W formation. We have the retest at support. The support is right at the 50-day moving average on the daily chart on the bank basket. We get the engulfing. We start heading up. We'll go to 41.86. Right now, we're at 40. We closed the week at 40.55 on the XLF on the banks. So we had some buying come in and covering come in right on May 1st here, okay? So let's see if we get an engulfing here. We got the buy. We had a little bit of capitulation candlestick here, so they weren't letting it down, okay, as they were selling in this spot. Let's go over to the SMH, and the SMH on the, let's go to the weekly first, okay? And on the weekly chart, we have a capitulation candlestick, but it's red, but we do have the capitulation again. But if it closed a little higher, it would have been green. So we came back, and where was the support? Exactly on the weekly chart. Now, always remember that you had a 9-day moving average, you had support right there, and you had support right in that spot at 46.75. And what did they do? They bought it right off of that spot, okay? So let's see here if we're going to get a little bit of a change, okay? As we pulled back, we get a little pop right off the 50-day moving average on the daily chart, okay? I'm sorry, wrong stock here, SMH, okay? Right here on the daily chart, see how we had that come back, and then we get the gap up right there, okay? We came back with a lot of volume. We had the exchange of money on the first, and then we had the capitulation candlestick on the daily chart on the second, and boom. Now we're in resistance, so we have to be careful, okay? Let's see if we can get up and above this area, okay? Because we're going into a higher volume area as we're coming into this candlestick that was on the 17th of April. Let's go over to IWM, and IWM is what? IWM is the speculators, okay? And let's see what the speculators are thinking in what's going on there. Now, look at the buying coming off from last week and this week on a weekly chart. Now, we could get a trend change here and retest that top if we get this weekly to cross up, and then we start getting follow through right into this area here, okay? So that's why markets change on a dime. See how they changed as we were pulling back for those 3 weeks, and then boom, we get the pop up, okay? Now we're in resistance. Why are we in resistance? Because we're in this gap area. Now we're right in this gap here, right there. You see it? Boom. We come right into that spot, okay? So you get a little profit taken. Why? Because you're in resistance, okay? So you have to be careful. Buying at support, taking the profits at resistance is always very, very important. Now let's go over to the old world Microsoft. Old world Microsoft, let's go to the, as Warner Wolf used to say, let's go to the videotape, okay? Now on the weekly chart, we have a very important formation right here, okay? We have two capitulation candlesticks right here, the little tweezers. You see them right there. When you get two in a row, you do get a very high probability of going up, okay? Now, if this was reversed and you were up here and you had that going down, you'd be going down, okay? So at this spot right here, in this spot, you're coming off and you're holding above the moving average, okay? So you got two buy signals off earnings right here. You have a weekly chart still heading down. So it doesn't mean that they can't come back down and then buy it back again, okay? It doesn't mean that. Now, if we get the follow through, we'll just get into this bar right here because we have more volume. Now, look at this. This is a really interesting thing here on Microsoft on a weekly chart. Let's go to a volume analysis, okay? On the week of the 22nd, okay, we had 121.368 million shares. On the week of the 29th, we had 107 million shares, okay? Going into 104, okay? So we could test this top of this bar on the week of April 15th. There's no question about that. We can get up into that spot, back up there. So that's what we're looking for right now. We have a little bit of a mess on the daily chart here, okay? We had a lot of money coming in right here on the earnings. We get the pop, we pull back, and we hold. Now, we held the support level. We get the doji. Now we're in resistance. So let's see what they're going to do here right in this spot. Are they going to hold this spot, pull back, and then pull back up? Let's see, okay? Let's see what they're going to do there. Let's go over the 2-hour chart because we want to see inside the hood of the car. And we have the buying going on here, okay? So we had the buying coming right into the spot. That was where the short cover was. We come back and we have less sellers than buyers here on Microsoft. Less sellers than buyers on Microsoft on a 2-hour chart, okay? We held into the aftermarket hours, okay? Now let's see if we're going to hold this area, pull back to it, and then head up to the 416.87, okay? So that's something that also we have to continue to keep looking at, okay? Now, let's go to, now Apple had an issue. I just want to show you something here on Apple, okay? So now on Apple, they had some kind of news that came out, okay? And they had the earnings, okay? So on Apple, we were in this area. Now, when we did our analysis last time, okay, right, the last time we did our analysis, we were up right into this spot the other day, okay? And we were right into this heavy resistance spot right there. Now, remember when I said with earnings, got to be careful because they could have dropped you, okay? They could have dropped you. Now, look at this monster come up to here, 183.38, okay? So we had the gap up. It didn't matter if you were in, you got a freebie. But a lot of times you got to be careful because you're going to get a gap down to 156 and been in trouble, okay? So that's why. Now, what are they doing into this area? Selling into this area here, okay? Now, watch this on a weekly chart. Now, you got massive volume, but you're going into these resistance downturns here, okay? Okay, right here on September 5th. You're right into that resistance spot right there. That's where it's sold off, okay? Now, let's see. We do have a weekly pointing up, so we can get a pullback, and then if we continue to go up, we could go up to this range here, okay? Let's see what they're going to do. On a daily chart, they took profits into that spot. On a 2-hour chart, let's break it down and go under the hood, okay? Now, we had the massive volume come in, okay, and it's holding the post pattern. Let's see. Okay, we got a post pattern on the 2-hour chart. Let's see what they're going to do here, okay? Now, if they pull this back, okay, let's say pull this back to here, half of where this bar is, let's say around here, okay? It holds, and then we start getting engulfing up, then you know this is for real here, okay? You know it's for real, this move. Okay, let's see what happens, or if we start breaking down into the gap area, okay? Let's see what happens. Okay, that's going to be something that we're going to have to keep watching. Okay, that's something we'll manage every day as we keep moving along. Okay, let's go to NVIDIA. Let's go to weekly chart first on NVIDIA. Okay, now in NVIDIA, you have on the weekly chart. Now, let me stretch this out for you so you can see it. Right here, we had support right in this spot on 745.50. Okay, right there, we're seven in that range, 746, 747. We had support. Now it held strong, and it came back to it right here, and then it popped back up. Okay, this week you get a capitulation candlestick, so you could come up and test this area. Now let's do volume analysis as we're moving into it. Okay, so last week on the week of April 22nd, you had 252 million shares going into 209 and 208. Okay. And then you had 208 going into 208, okay? So you can test this spot right up into this area at the 985.49, okay? It is possible. Now, when you look at the daily chart, let's stretch it out so we know where we are. Always know where you are, okay? Where were the major support lines, okay? We had support right here, and we had support right here, and it dropped a little bit lower. We came up and above. We had resistance right in that spot right there. Came back and held the 50-day moving average, okay, right there, and then bounced it up, okay, right above it, okay, right in that spot. Now, going into this resistance, so let's see what they do if they get up and above it. Let's see if they can get up and above it. That's what we're looking at here on NVIDIA. Now, on NVIDIA, look at the 2-hour chart, okay? The 2-hour chart is right in this spot here. Let's see if we pull it back. So if we pull back to here, okay, and then we come back up right into the 919 range, okay, that would be a 2-hour chart buy. You had a buy signal right there in the pre-market yesterday, okay, and you held right above there, okay, right above the moving average. So this could be a little bit of a trend change, okay, it could be a little bit of a trend change as you get these moving down as we move back. See how we move back, okay. Now, this is a trader's market, okay? That's why you're getting all these whipsaws all over the place. You got a market that's a little unhealthy here, okay? This is what happens to a market before you get a correction or a crash. You start getting this wild scene all over the place. Buy, sell, okay? Because you got the traders in there, okay? Now, on Amazon, you had the monster buy signal on April 25th, okay? Right off the bottom there. It's a monster buy signal when you see that, okay? Now, it was because you were off of 167, and now you were at one point, your high on yesterday was 187.87. Now you're slamming into resistance right now on Amazon here. So look at the profit taking already as you were going into that spot. So you're probably going to pull back here, okay, on Amazon. You're at all-time highs here. Okay, so that's another thing. So you have to be careful. If you get past it, then look out. Look out. You're going to be getting up to that 203 range. And that'll be weeks and weeks away if it starts to explode, okay? That's something that continuously you're going to watch that too, okay? And holding right now, okay, on Amazon, okay? Let's go over to... let's go to the weekly chart on Home Depot. Okay, Home Depot. Okay. Now, in Home Depot, coming off a major support area on the 50-day moving average on the weekly chart, let's go over to a line chart, and we got the V formation. Let's see if we can get a W. Let's see if we can get a W on this, and it holds the 50-day, and then boom, we start heading back up on Home Depot, okay? So you got the discount, right? They gave you the discount, didn't they? Okay? Give you a discount. Your high on the week of March 18th was at 396.87, and your low on April 22nd was down at the 326.90 range. Okay, so that's a big discount, right? So now you're in a discounted level here, and your weekly stochastic just crossed up. Okay, so let's see. Remember, you do have overhead pressure right at 350. 350.80, 350.161 in that range. Okay, so you do have that going on. Okay, You go down to the support area, you come back to the 20-day moving average, and let's see if it holds. Okay, let's see if it holds on the 2-hour chart, because you'll be following it on smaller time frames to see if you're going to get this change of trend. Okay, you had it covering right here. Okay, you had covering right here. Okay, you come back up, you get up and above. Let's see if you hold, you get another engulfing, you know you're on the way up. Okay, you'll know you're on the way up. Following money, we're not predicting here, and this is not no crystal ball or anything like that. Okay, we're just following what we're doing. And even the best traders in the world, they may make mistakes all the time. They make mistakes every day. Okay, so that happens too to all of us. Okay. Now on Tesla, you had a massive surge of volume here on April 29th. Okay, as you came back to support, you got the dojis and you're holding. Let's see. Let's go over to the weekly chart. Okay, as we came up and they sold into that spot on the 20-day moving average on that weekly chart. That was a major resistance area. Let's see on a 2-hour chart if we're going to get the change in the trend here. Okay, let's see what's going to happen. Now, as we hold a sideways consolidation here, look at this sideways consolidation right here. Okay, you want to see sideways and then boom. Okay, sideways, then boom, you'll be heading back down to here. Okay, first, then here. But that may not happen. Let's see what's going to happen as we will watch it closely. But these are the best when you get the sideways consolidations and then what? Boom. If you get the buying, you know it's going to be a massive buying surge because of how long of the sideways consolidation is, okay? Let's go over to, let's go over to Goldman Sachs on the weekly chart. And on the weekly chart, we had the buying last week and this week, okay? And we're on our way to 452.70. Let's see if it can make it up there, okay? Let's see if it can make it up there. Now, on Goldman, you came off the support area right here, and then you had the engulfing, okay? You had engulfing, okay? That was on April 22nd on 422, okay? So then you got the dojis, boom, you got the pop up, and then you're heading up to 444.32. Right now, 438.18, okay?